For many of you, mid-August might have been prime time for people looking to knock out one last game before school started back up. And publishers, they definitely delivered. I'm Dan Gannott, the PS2 guy, and welcome back to This Week in PlayStation 2 History. Today, I'm looking at a completely random but awesome slice of mid-August releases. I've got Extreme Sports Royalty, a literally lost episode of a legendary cartoon, and like last week, I have some of that late era budget jam. I absolutely love it. Let's dive right in. While Tony Hawk had a complete stranglehold on the skate parks, the Condor was holding it down for the BMX crowd. I'm kicking things off on August 12, 2002 with Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2. Back then, the extreme sports genre was basically printing money. Honestly, I didn't understand it because it wasn't really my thing, but there's no denying that Activision's O2 label was unstoppable. Playing this sequel, the thing I noticed versus the original is how much it opened up compared to the first game. You were hitting massive gaps, using flatland tricks to link crazy combos together, and the physics just had this incredible weight to them that felt right. Plus, the road trip vibe of the career mode gave the whole thing a ton of personality, and the soundtrack was absolutely killer. If you were a kid in 2002 who lived at the local dirt jumps, then this game was probably sitting in your PS2's disc tray all summer long. Licensed cartoon games are usually a massive gamble, but this one is incredibly special and ridiculously expensive. Exactly 1 year later, on August 12, 2003, Vivendi Universal dropped the Futurama game. Neither the show or the game were something I was into back then, but one can't deny that this one is a true gem once you give it a go. Instead of just cashing in on the name with a lazy cash grab, they actually brought in the show's original writers and voice cast to create what is essentially a full-length playable Lost episode. It's a 3D platformer and shooter where you play as Fry, Bender, Leela, and Dr. Zoidberg. It perfectly captures the cel-shaded look and the exact humor of the show. I purposely watched a few episodes of the show after playing around on this one. Back in the day, this game didn't sell all that well, and that's surprising considering how popular the show was and how well this plays. As a result, however, this one is notoriously expensive for retro collectors to track down now. If you still have your childhood copy sitting on a shelf somewhere, hold on to it. You're sitting on a piece of PS2 gold. By 2006, the PS3 was knocking on the door, but developers were still pumping out these glorious $15 budget games for the masses. Jumping ahead to the late-era PS2 lifecycle, I land on August 15, 2006 with Pirates Legend of the Black Buccaneer. This is pure checkout aisle gold. I picked this one up used for like $5 or something like that. It's basically a lower budget knockoff of Prince of Persia or Tomb Raider, but with a twist. You play as a pirate named Francis Blade, and you get voodoo powers that let you transform into this hulking demon pirate. Is it a polished masterpiece? Absolutely not. The platforming is super clunky, and the camera fights you half the time. But there's just something incredibly charming about finding a random action-adventure game like this and beating it in a weekend. It's that classic, scrappy, late-era PS2 energy. And that wraps up my look at mid-August. The PS2 library, it never fails to amaze me. 1 year you're grinding power lines on a BMX bike, and a few years later, you're using voodoo magic on a pirate island. I want to hear from you guys. Did you play any of these? Are you one of the lucky ones with a copy of Futurama in your collection? Or were you too busy pulling off combos in Matt Hoff? Drop a comment down below and let me know. If you liked hanging out with me today, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. I'm Dan Gannott, the PS2 guy, and I'll catch you in the next video. And remember, stay retro.
Midnight strikes!